Hey everyone, this is Tristan Roberts. If you're new and you're watching this, welcome to the family. I'm making this video for you to try to help make things a little bit easier, at least as far as Online Expert goes. So this is basically just going to be a basic overview of Online Expert, how to use it, and the resources inside. And I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm just going to kind of stick with the basics. So we'll keep it brief and as informative as possible. Okay. So the first thing that I want you all to take notice of is that I'm using Internet Explorer. Okay, it's a Windows-based browser. Online Expert just functions better in Windows-based browsers. So if you have a Mac, um, I would probably download Chrome or Firefox. The recommended browsers for Online Expert will probably be Firefox. Personally, I would say Firefox or Chrome. I'm using Internet Explorer for a reason, and I'm going to show you why. But so for those of you that do have to use Internet Explorer for whatever reason, I'm going to show you what you're going to see. Okay, so you're going to log in, and you're going to go to session 1. You're going to go to your pre-assessment, and that's going to work just fine. Okay, so you're going to click through, then you're going to go through your set of questions, and then you're going to get to the end. Okay, then you're going to go to your training, and you're going to see this, just a black screen. Okay, it doesn't matter where you click, you're going to see the same thing. All right, and then you're probably going to go to labs and see how those are working, and then you're going to see this. So it's not our servers, it's not your computer or anything like that. It's just a browser. It's an easy fix. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So this is only for Internet Explorer users, by the way. So I'm just going to come up here to the tools menu. You can click Alt X if you want, whatever works better for you. Scroll down here to compatibility view setting. All right, we're going to click there. And 9 times out of 10, this will already be here if you're on Online Expert. If it's not, just type onlineexpert.com, right? What we want to do is we want to add this to this box down here. Make sure both of these boxes are checked and then click close, right? As soon as you do that, come back to the training and voila. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm going to come back for a second, but I just want to get that out of the way because a lot of you that are using Internet Explorer, you're going to run into that problem, and you're probably going to assume that something's wrong, but it's a simple fix. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the dashboard for a second and just go over a quick few things here. So here's your quick list, right? And real quick, if you have a course that's been assigned to you and you don't see it here, this means that it's not in your quick list. So what you want to do is come down here to all courses, find it here, check it, update your quick list, right? And then it'll be here once you do that. Real simple. Okay. If it's not here in all courses, then it hasn't been assigned to you yet. So you're probably going to want to contact your vet rep and find out what happened. All right. So real quick, just to show you the basics, right? You have these 5 sessions here. Each of these 5 sessions comes with pre-assessment, training videos, a set of training videos, labs, and a post-assessment. Okay, so basically you just start session 1 and you do step by step all the way to session 5 until you're done. You're done with this resource and then you move on to the next one. Okay, so I'm gonna get just a little bit more technical. So I pretty much showed you what the pre-assessment is about. It's just assessing where you are before you go into the training, right? So hopefully when you get over here, you know a little bit more than you knew when you were over here. And that's basically what that's about, okay? Before I get into the training, just want to scroll down here and show you something. So this workbook right here, come back to the training for just a second, just to give you an idea. So you can see there's a lot of videos here, right? And by the time you get all the way through here, you know, it's probably been about an hour or so. The majority of you, if you don't have a photographic memory, or you just remember everything you hear, you're probably not going to retain a lot of this stuff. Just sitting through and listening to it, right? And that's where the workbook comes into play. So, just want to give you a brief overview of the workbook. I'm not going to get into too much detail of it, but Jason basically he designed this for you to use in tandem while you're going through the training, right? To help you retain the knowledge a little bit more. So when you scroll down here, you can see session 1. You know, he split the workbook up into the sessions. So he has activities and things for you to do while you're going through the training to help you retain the stuff. And that's what the workbook is about. So I'll just click on fill in the blanks right here, and you can see that there's a section here where you follow the training, and as the answers come, you fill them in. And, you know, this is going to increase the percentage of information that you retain if you add another dimension to it. So there's a couple ways you can use this workbook. You know, some people here are writers, and you probably want to print this out. And notice that there's 80 pages here, so you don't want to print out the whole workbook. Just look for the activities, right? This would probably be a page. This is like 2 pages right here. So just print these 2 pages when you're going through session 1, and just use this as you're going through the training. Or you can just use it as a fill in the blanks as well, right? Maybe you have 2 monitors. You can put this on the other monitor while you're going through the training, and then fill in the blanks while you're going through it. So just like that, whichever works better for you. Okay, but that's what the workbook is about. So you definitely want to make sure that you don't overlook that, because it's easy to do if you're just kind of going through these sessions right here. Okay, so yeah, that's the training. You use the workbook while you're going through it to help get that extra dimension. And so typically when you go through each of these sub videos right here, you'll get a check mark, and it just kind of tracks your progress. Okay, sometimes you don't get the check mark, and that's nothing to drive yourself crazy over. It's more of a, you know, sometimes you know, the browsers that we're using, they're not working too well. You know, sometimes the system is just acting up. But there's a different place to track your progress, which I'm going to show you in a bit. So you definitely don't want to freak out over the check marks. Okay. So yeah, that's about it. You just go through the training, and then by the time you get through the training, then you're going to be ready for the labs. Okay. So these labs, I'm not a huge fan of them because they are not trial and error. Okay. What I mean by that is this lab will only allow me to do what I'm supposed to do. Okay, there's a set of steps, and if I don't follow that set of steps, then it won't let me do anything, right? So I'm just kind of showing you that I'm clicking around, right? And you can see this incorrect popping up every time I click something. And you know, that's why I'm not a huge fan of these labs, but we're really limited to the technology of our LMS, our management system, right? So there's nothing to worry about. There's some training in your next phase that you're going to use. And you'll be using your own personal version of this stuff. And you know, that's why I say don't get too hung up on these labs. Okay, for now, they're just kind of a necessity to get through Online Expert. But what I want to point out to you is that since it won't let you do anything, unless you do what it's supposed to do, if you get stuck or hung up, there's a set of steps, and they're over here under my tools, right? You have your lab index here with all the different labs that they have for you. And then right under this, you have a set of steps. These steps walk you through what you're supposed to do, okay? So as long as you follow these steps, then this lab will work correctly, okay? If you do anything outside of these steps, it'll mark it wrong. So right now we're in the lab section where it just says incorrect. But if you're taking one of these labs in the post-assessment and you do something wrong, it'll just automatically mark it wrong. So I just wanted to point that out because some people see that. They'll be going through the post-assessment and they'll do something wrong, and it'll just skip ahead to the next question without allowing them to do what they're trying to do. And I just wanted to point that out. It's not a glitch or anything like that. It's just how these are designed. If you follow these steps, this will work exactly how it's supposed to, right? Now it's letting me do something, you can see. So I click on new, and then click on blank document, and I'm good to go. Then it moves me to the next one. So, all right. And then last but not least, for each section, you're going to get the post-assessment. Okay, so the post-assessment basically is a set of questions, right? Just like the pre-assessment. If you get 80% of these correct, then you pass the session and you get to move on to the next one. Okay, so that's basically the training in a nutshell, session by session. You're going to start with the pre-assessment, go to the training. You're going to do the workbook while you're going through the training, right? And you're going to come to the lab, and then you're going to do your post-assessment. As long as you get 80% or better, you'll get a little check mark right here. You get a little check mark up here, and then you'll move on to session 2. All right? Do that all the way down to session 5, and then you'll be done with this portion of your training, and then you'll move on to the next phase. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Now, I want to show you a couple other things before I go, just to show you what you have access to. So you do have some stuff over here under my tools, right? You have course outline and Glassware. You have some resources and things. But what I really want to point out is this activity report right here. Okay, so if you remember when I was talking about the training, I mentioned the check mark sometimes not coming up, and that your progress is being tracked. Well, your progress is being tracked on 2 sides. It's being tracked on your side, and it's also being tracked on our side. So whoever your vet rep is, even if you're not getting check marks when you're getting through, portions of the training, everything that you do while you're in Online Expert is being tracked. So your time is really what's important. That's the thing to really keep track of. Make sure your time is accurate, and as long as your time is accurate, it doesn't matter if the check marks show or don't. Right? That's not what we're really looking for. We're looking for progress, right? And we're looking for time. So technically, if you already know this stuff and you want to skip all this and you just pass the post-assessment, no one's going to say anything if you go test and and you pass the test. It's really what it's about. So just make sure you get 80% when you get over here, no matter what you do over here. Okay. The other thing that I want to show you is also your test scores, right? So once you go through your labs and your post-assessments, this is where you can view all your results. And as you can see, the times are over here, like everything is being tracked. So, but the part that I want to point out is the study guides over here. So once you take an exam, if you come over here to your activity report, the test scores, view your study guide, what this is going to do is give you all the questions that you answered correctly on the exam. So, I'll let you decide what you want to do with that. But, there's a bunch of different ways that you can use this to your advantage. One could be knowing what's going to be asked of you before you even go into the training. So, if you find yourself getting stuck on a particular exam or something like that, play around with the strategies. There's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of help you get through this phase of the training. So it's important to understand that this is just a phase of the training. This isn't everything. Once you get through this post-assessment, you get through this fifth post-assessment, it doesn't mean that you're certified, right? You still have to go out into town and have someone proctor the exam for you. So this is just a phase of your training. You learn what you can from here, and then you move on to the next resource, which is a very good resource. But okay, so that's about it. Like I said, I don't want to get too detailed. I just wanted to give you a brief overview of how to use these resources, what's here available to you, and how to make this resource work for you. One last thing, for anyone that's interested in changing their password, you just come up here to profile, and you can change your password right here. It's real simple. Most people like to keep it the same because it's easier. But for those of you that do want to change it, you do it up here. All right. Other than that, if you have any other questions, just get with your vet rep or give me a call. You can email me, troberts@learnkey.com, and I'll answer whatever questions you have. But anyway, thanks for taking the time. I hope you got something out of this. And if you have any other questions, feel free to contact me. All right, everyone, have a great day.